Welcome, UC Bearcats, to the UC Bearcats on the Prowl show, part of the Grooving Truth Radio Network, brought to you by mybookie.ag. That's right, mybookie.ag, where you can bet on all the college sports, bowl games, all that fun stuff. So, Mark, what have the Bearcats been up to?
Well, James, they actually had a pretty good week basketball-wise, played Tuesday night and Thursday night. Tuesday, they had a nice win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. I know the team was 0-12 coming in, but, the Bearcats beat them 77-49, pretty much the way you should beat a team with no wins when you are a ranked team. And then tonight they played Cleveland State, beat them 81-62. At halftime was a little closer than I had expected. I think they were up by 9 points at halftime. But then in the second half, the defense really took over. I think in the first half, if I remember correctly, Cleveland State was shooting about 67%, but then they ended up shooting 37% in the second half. The Bearcats went on a nice 21-8 run at the end of the game to put things away. So I'm looking over the stats. I think they were led by a trio of guys. Kyle Washington had a good night, had a good game, ended up scoring, I believe, his 1,000th point in college basketball.
Yes, 1,000 point. Well, actually, 1,000 for UC.
Oh, it's 1,000 for UC. Okay, and then
it was 1,000 as a transfer, because that was one of the big things about it. They were like, well, shoot, 1,000 points is normally not that big of a thing, but usually, since he only played there 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And so I think he had 18 or 16.
He had 14.
He had 14. Okay, Gary Clark had 18. Jaron Cumberland had 16. So that's So those three, they led the team, and it was a good win. Any win's a good win, and they beat a team that they should have beaten them by 19. Yeah, they needed a nice stretch or a nice run down the stretch to close it down, but they did what they had to and got the W.
You're right. That is very important. You definitely don't want to lose those type of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the first half, Cleveland was just hitting everything. It was ridiculous how well their shooting was going in the first half. They had players that were 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 for 3, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. So, Mick kept in his post-game press conference talking about how their game plan and the strategy for Cleveland State was flawless. They did the right thing, and then the coach, with his experience all the way from NBA, on down, had got the right game plan for his type of players. So, he had nothing but positives to say. And you're right. In the second half, UC made their run, their defense, their depth really stepped up. Actually, it was funny, after the game, one of the press people kept giving Gary Clark a bunch of grief for not getting an offensive rebound.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously, if that's the problem we have in the game, I think I'm okay with that. If we win by 19, exactly, we'll take it.
Well, and like you said, like we were saying, they beat a team that they should have beat, and they beat them by 19. It's not like North Carolina last night losing to Wofford at home. And so it's college basketball, and and I know I talk about this guy a lot, but as John Rothstein is one to say on Twitter, it's college basketball where you should expect the unexpected. And UC handled business. We can't complain about that.
Very true. Yeah, most of the players were very consistent. And actually, the neat thing about the game was before the game, they came out very lighthearted. They were very enthusiastic before the game, very jovial, actually. It's the craziest thing that happened. And I know this sounds like an odd thing to keep track of, but Kyle Washington actually dunked the ball in warm-ups. And you're like, you're like, he's tall. Of course he dunks the ball all the time. Nope. He usually does not dunk in warm-ups. It was the weirdest thing when I saw that, because normally he'll do that thing where and he ends up laying it up. I'm like, come on, dude, you're giant. You should be dunking the ball. But he actually did it today, so that was kind of a nice change.
Good. Yeah. Hey, whatever he did, keep it up.
Oh, exactly. And then the other guys were in a good mood. Like at one point, they started where they bounce the ball and dunk it or lob it. You know, someone would lob them to them in warm-ups. I mean, they were just like very easygoing for the game, so that was nice to see. But yeah, the arena, I mean, it was packed. You know, I mean, everything was going great today. And then, of course, prior to that, the UC Bearcats had apparently signed two centers or a center and a forward. I'm not really sure because based on their height, 6'9" and 6'7", I'm thinking they're for the basketball team, right?
Yeah. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, but they could be. I mean, Josh Wiley, who's a local product, is 6'7", going to play tight end. And UC has experience sending, tight ends to the NFL. They got the one in Philadelphia and then the one in Kansas City. So, yeah, I mean, they know how to get to the NFL with tight ends. And at 6'7", I mean, he was one of the top 10 tight ends. And that one doesn't even say in the state. It just says one of the top 10 tight ends.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I was expecting, the sentence then in the state, but no, top 10 overall. And then top 14 players in the state of Ohio. So, I mean, he is an awesome player. Turned down Auburn, Georgia, Indiana, UK, Louisville, Tennessee, I mean, Wisconsin, all kinds of huge schools to stay in town and play at UC.
Yeah, and that's the kid from LaSalle. So, and they were saying earlier tonight that he in the city he more than doubled the yardage of the tight ends in the city. The closest he had 600 plus yards, and the closest other tight end in Cincinnati was at 300 plus. So granted, LaSalle is a little more tight end heavy than some teams are, but you're going to be tight end heavy when you got a kid with the skills he has
and the size.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good get.
Exactly, that's huge. I mean, that's one of those guys that we should be able to, when we're in the red zone or need a first down, just lob the ball to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And, of course, the fellow that will be lobbing the ball to him is Ben Bryant. And Ben, I mean, once again, another player that, I mean, big schools we're looking at, Wisconsin, Georgia, Indiana, Ole Miss, West Virginia. I mean, tons of really big names. And he's from Illinois, so it wasn't a lock to get, him. He wasn't a local fella.
Yeah, and that's good recruiting. That's good recruiting by Luke Fickell. And this is where it gets interesting. He's got this whole off season. He's had a whole season behind him to recruit the kind of kids he wants. And I mean, this Ben Bryant kid that you're talking about, he pulled him from the heart of Big Ten country, really. I mean, Illinois, you got Indiana, Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, Northwestern, those teams to recruit him, and he came to Cincinnati.
Exactly. I mean, that's just huge. Basically, one of the main ones that really showed the difference between this class and last year's class, because they only had a couple weeks on that, was the best player last year was rated at an 84. The average this year is an 84.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just dramatically gotten better. There's another fellow from Illinois who turned down Yale to come to UC Cooper, an offensive line. I mean, there's such talent on this list. I mean, they got three really good wide receivers. Probably one of the best players on the list is Bush, who's a corner from Ohio. So, I mean, they got some really good ones. And then a local guy from Campbell County High School. They have a running back at 5'11", 185. So yeah, they got some neat stuff going on here. And then they have an athlete. What was the one that was the athlete?
Yeah, his name is. Are you talking about Rogers?
Yeah, Rogers.
The kid from Florida, I think, isn't he from Florida?
Yeah, he's from Florida.
Yeah.
So
6'1", 180.
Quarterback, wide receiver, DB, and he plays a little bit of everything. And that's one of the things Fickell in his press conference was saying, that he wants to get out of his skill players that are talented enough to play in multiple positions.
Exactly. And he's the kind of player that can end up being like a Paris Campbell from this year's Ohio State team. You know, they can put him at wide receiver. They can put him in the backfield. He can take some snaps if you need to out of the Wildcat. You can put him anywhere. And with speed like that in the American Athletic Conference, that could go a long way. You know, I watched.
You have to get speed on the field.
Exactly. You watch the games that they lost this year, and some of them were because they weren't just fast enough at times to keep up. And I think recruiting to the speed is going to help Fickell in the years to come.
And then, of course, another local fella, Van, Malcolm Van, defensive lineman, 6'3", 280. There's a couple of the other defensive linemen they got and offensive linemen that are on the lighter side, but he's already built like a grown adult at that size.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think he and Wiley, Malik Van and Wiley are the two gems of Fickell's recruiting class. You know, those were guys that could have gone to big-time schools and decided to stay home. It's nice to have the quality athletes here like that other programs want, and it's nice to be able to get them to stay at home. So Fickell and his recruiters did a good job there.
And then, of course, the local town, because we do a lot with Oktoberfest, right? So it counts as local, don't it?
Yeah.
We do enough Oktoberfest here in Cincinnati. So Germany and Cincinnati, same place. I would think the state of, and as Fickell likes to say, the state of Cincinnati. I like when he does that.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I would feel bad because people are looking at me like I'm weird, but I just want to do that happy clap that people do. Kind of like a golf clap, but way too enthusiastic. Yeah, you're at the state of Cincinnati. Yay! I'm like, no, you're not going to succeed and get our own statehood. But anyway, back to the whole German thing. This fella, I mean, is just a beast. 6'9", 277.
Yeah. You're talking about Lorenz Metz. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. My fear is he turns into the Marcus Hunt of the Bearcats, you know, but Marcus Hunt was something in college. So hopefully Mr. Metz here can do the same thing, take that size and adapt it and become a force, because he's huge. But then you look at his picture and he doesn't look as big as he really is, because they just take these commitment recruiting pictures from the waist up, so you can't get a good feeling for how tall he really is. And to be quite honest, you look at that picture of him, he's slim. He looks like a slim kid, like almost a wide receiver linebacker build, but he's on the defensive line.
Exactly. Well, because it's 6'9", I mean, you got to stretch that weight out there. I mean, it's not like he's 277 and 6 foot. Now, then he would be a big boy, but a thick boy. But now he, at his height, he's going to gain another 30 pounds, 40 pounds of muscle. Be 300, 310, and just be a beast. And in college, because you mentioned, like you said, Marcus Hunt. I mean, I'm not expecting him to, definitely be a pro or high-end pro or anything like that. But in college, in the AAC, he should be able to do well, just like Marcus did for SMU.
Right. And you're right. When you see a kid that's 6'9", you generally expect them, excuse me, to be well beyond 300 pounds. So this kid has some work. He's a project. Get him in there, get the strength coaches on him, and build some muscle. 6'9", 277, the kid is going to naturally be strong. It's getting him stronger. It's getting that meat on him. It's getting him beefed up a little bit, and he'll be there. I have faith in the strength staff that they should be able to get him there.
Exactly. You get him a little stronger, and you get him a first quick step, and he's going to volleyball spike a heck of a lot of passes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, And the thing is, some of these kids could come in and compete and contribute right away. I mean, Josh Wiley, he's going to walk in and be the number one tight end on the team. They don't have that talent at the tight end position like he brings. So he's going to walk in and be able to start probably from day one. And so he's going to be a contributor right away. The kid, the athlete, and I forget his name. We were just talking about him. The kid from Florida.
Yeah,
he
Rogers.
could very well, Rogers, as I say,
yeah.
he very well could do the same thing. Come in and compete from day one because he's not going to be just a running back. He's not going to be just a receiver. He's going to be able to do both, So it's going to be fun, Like Ben Bryant, you might expect Ben Bryant, the quarterback, to get redshirted just because they do have some young quarterbacks. But, hey, you redshirt the kid. He comes in as redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore year, and you got a kid who's going to be good.
Exactly. And then Van, he'll probably play some with his size and his ability. So, yeah, they've got some very talented players. And, of course, the nice thing is he stayed home to get his groceries. I mean, they got out of the 22 students, what was it, how many are tri-state? 8 are from the tri-state area, 14 are from Ohio. So, yeah, I mean, he's getting good local talent.
Exactly. And, we were talking about Metz, you look at Malik Van, he's heavier than Metz, but he's also 6 inches shorter. So he's that defensive line build that you expect. He should be able to come in right away and compete if they need him to. It would be great if they didn't need him to, but my feeling is he's going to probably start from day one. Exactly.
He's going to be one of those 4-year guys that by the end are just going to be so talented. Speaking about talented players and Florida, because we were just talking about Rogers, the athlete, Carter Jacobs, who is graduating, from UC. Guess who we have on January 3rd?
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier today on Facebook, and he is thrilled. He's psyched to come on the show, so it should be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yep. And then another thing that's quite interesting, of course, you remember Justin Murray, who we had on the show last year, which Ryan Coglin's like, seriously, how did you get him to talk? Because apparently he's on the shyer side. Really nice guy. And he's like, Ryan had nothing but great things to say about him, but he's like, he just doesn't talk too much. And I'm like, oh, he came on the show. He was great. Well, anyway, now he's a Bearcat. Or not a Bearcat, I mean a Bengal.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
They brought him home. Didn't they just sign him like yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that on 1530 that they had signed him, and I was thrilled because I want to try to get him on the show. I'm going to give him a week or so before I, hit him up on Facebook because obviously everybody, is going to want to talk to him now he's back home. But, yeah, definitely that'd be nice to have him come back on, do a little bit on the show and talk up, his experiences because he's been to several different places. He was, of course, in Denver. I want to say New Orleans.
Saints.
Saints. And I want to say the Buccaneers, I think, is one of the other ones. Because he was on 3 teams this year. Because there's been several teams that have wanted him because he'll be on one team's practice squad. And it's not he gets cut, but one of the other teams will bring him on their team to play. And so I mean he's in demand, which is always a great thing.
It is. People talk about the practice squad. Oh, you're just a practice squad player, but obviously they see something in you that they feel they can develop. So it's good to have him back home. He's going to give the Bengals some much needed depth at the position because God knows it hasn't been that great this year. And hopefully they can develop him and get him to be a contributor.
Sounds like a plan. So the Bearcats don't play again until New Year's Eve. Yep. And they're playing Memphis. So there's not really too much between now and then. Obviously, they just had the big signing. They've been playing that 4-game stretch, which was huge. But there's not too much going on besides that after that with the Bearcats. Any thoughts going into the holidays?
No, it's just enjoy it. We get a little break from UC basketball. They get a little nice holiday break, and it's just there's exciting things on the horizon for both programs, football and basketball. It's going to be a good year to come.
Exactly, I agree with you. 2018 is only going to be better than 2017 was. Starting, of course, with the basketball, hopefully doing something big in the tournament. I mean, with the talent they have, with how they're starting to gel together, ending non-conference play and heading into conference play. There, like you said, there's bright future ahead for them, and then of course football is going to be improved. I'm not optimistic about the UCLA trip, but other than that, should be a pretty good one. Looking forward to going back down to Paul Brown. So all kinds of nice things.
Yep.
So for James Ernest, Park Fight Master of the UC Bearcats and the Prowl, wishing you happy holidays. And would like to thank mybookie.ag for sponsoring the network. Anything else, Mark?
No, just Merry Christmas. Take some of that Christmas money that you save and head over to MyBookie. Maybe you can make a little bit on the bowls.